He'll be like Liquid Chick Collector. he, you know, it's just, it was cool, you know, it was really cool. Like, we, you know, and we got tons of flack, you know, I mean, we kind of took the barrage of, that's the nothing new thing, and we were kind of like, well, whatever. You know, we debated on how much we really want to fight it, and, you know, how much we cared about other people saying it, and then we kind of cared, you know, we were kind of like, well, one of the biggest inspirations to us and stuff was popping and punk styles, you know, we loved the dances, we loved the culture, but, they didn't really like us, you know, it's like we intimidated, or we kind of gave somebody, like, an inferiority complex, and we, wasn't our intention, but, you know, fucking people from the woodworks came out. I mean, you know, dudes that had been dancing for, like, years, all of a sudden, you know, were putting their flags into their, you know, into their moon, so to speak. They're just like, who the fuck are you, you know? I mean, it's like, dudes that, like, probably haven't even, like, popped for like 20 years. We're like, oh yeah, back in the day we were like doing this shit, and it's like, no, seriously, shut up. And you know, but I mean, we fought flag from people who were also very trained, you know, and were very knowledgeable about what it is that they did, and you know, we got flack from that end too, and you know, we kind of just had to stand our grounds and explain why. See, a lot of times people didn't know. People thought that what we were actually doing was saying that we were doing a dance style that really wasn't anything new, and what we were saying is, well, we took ideas, both new and old, and were influenced by all these different characteristics, and liquid and waving was definitely an influence, but we never said it wasn't, and a lot of people thought that we didn't kind of pay that respect, or that we didn't know what we were talking about. And that was another reason we really made it a point to learn funk styles, was because we couldn't understand why people were saying what we did was something that they used to do. But if we didn't understand is, well, if it's something that you used to do, why don't you still do it? If all of these other styles are so well developed, then why is it that the style that we claim we do isn't it's just something that you guys did way back in the 80s, and for some reason, you know, was like, it was like an abortion, you know what I mean? It's like, where is it? I don't get it, you know? And so we were like, well, fuck it, we're going to learn what all these other people are doing and try to understand where the similarities were, and we did. You know, I mean, I'm not an amazing popper, but, you know, I can hold my own if I need to, you know? I'll probably get whooped, you know, but it's like, I feel like I'm at a knowledgeable point where you can't make that argument to me anymore, because I do both of these styles. I've taken the time to learn both of these styles. So until someone comes to me that does popping and is really good at it, and does liquid and is really good at it, and tells me that this isn't called liquid, this is nothing more than waving, then maybe I'll listen. You probably won't convince me, but maybe I'll actually listen to you. You know, I don't understand how someone can, you know, compare something that they don't know. It's like, how can you tell me what an orange tastes like if you've never tasted an orange? Or tell me that it tastes different than an apple? I don't get it. You know, so, you know, we had to fight that. That was like a big issue, and we did it, and I think we were very successful at it. You know, after kind of like, I mean, you see it every time something comes new on the internet. You know, someone's like, look at this new dance style. Everyone's like, bullshit. You know, and just kind of everyone wants to hate, and you know what? It's like, whatever. You know, seriously, whatever. So, yeah. So that happened, and then you know, we kind of had like a nice little bat of good times, and then LPC broke up because people were, how do I put it, unable to financially control their own greed when it came to being responsible about money that everybody made. We met the Transformers. they were cool.
And where are they from?
They were California. They were northwest California, like Bay Area. We had heard wrong information, misinformation about something that one of their crew members said, and it was actually how we got in touch with them, because I kind of reached out and, you know, kind of called them out on it, but it was more kind of like, it was a little bit of like a, did you really say this thing? And, you know, it was actually a good thing that, you know, we were able to meet with them, because they're really cool kids, and me and Eric took a trip out to the Bay Area and met up with this girl. Her name was Fluid Girlie, and Fluid Girl, and we met up with her, and she had been doing liquid for a while. She pops, and I believe was taught a lot by Media Circus, and she took us out and put us in touch with the Transformers, and they were cool. I mean, they took the white glove thing to like a really cool concept, you know, and it's very different than what we ever saw with liquid. They used a lot of tutting and a lot of boxes, but very different. They didn't do it on beat. They did it in this kind of flow aspect, but it was in tune with the music, because they were listening to trance. You know, it was very hard for me and Eric to go up there and do what we did, because it was trance. You know, we didn't like dancing the trance, but their style was because it was so popular up there. That's how their style kind of came about. But we went up there and we met. It was funny because it was like we show up, and me and Eric were kind of sick. We didn't feel well, and we like ate some like bad Chinese food or something, and like we meet the one kid, and he's like, oh, you know, it's like I never said that and stuff, and we're like, oh, it's cool, you know, like we like squashed it. It was totally like, you know, wrong information that I had heard, and I look at Eric and we look forward, and before we know it, there's like 25 kids all in Transformers outfits, and I look at Eric, I go, you take the 20 on the right, I got the 20 on the left. We're like, what the fuck? All of a sudden, there's all these kids in front of us, but they were really cool. They were really excited to meet us, and you know, I mean, it seemed like they really looked up to what we do. But you know, we were really excited because we saw what they did, and we were like, oh, you know, we never thought of taking white gloves and black lights and making that the stick behind liquid, you know, and that's what it was for them. I mean, there was. When we do liquid, we can kind of be out in light, and we can be in dark, and we can still kind of gain some of the same effects. For them, their only disadvantage is they focused around black lights and white gloves, but that was their medium, you know. So like that, you know, that's how they created it, and it was cool. I mean, it was really cool to see. They had routines, so just by the sole fact that they had routines, let us know that they thought about what they did. They had definition to what they did, and it was very illusion based. Real fast, you know, a lot of super fast movements that gave these kind of like little, like nice trails and everything, and it had a lot of form and flow to it, and it was cool. So, you know, we met up with them and hung out with them like the whole weekend and stuff, and just bugged out. And they popped too, a bunch of them popped. They did a lot of kind of freestyle type dance. I forget what they called it. It was just like some name. It was like freestyle, basically, is what it was. And you know, they did that, and it was cool. So we met them. Function from Meat Mechanics. He was one of the guys that kind of first approached us when people started hearing about our crew. And Eric and Sammy and them met them at Detroit the first year they went, and got down with him a little bit. And he had a very sphere-like style. Like he worked kind of around using a ball, sort of, but like just by the way he actually moved his hands, where, you know, we do the flow this way. He was a little bit more about kind of turning and stuff. So you know, he had a different style also called the Milwaukee style.
That's Milwaukee,
yeah,
FYI.
That's Milwaukee. The Native Americans, they called it Milwaukee. Sorry, Function, I'm just kidding.